quick video on something that I've been dealing with for the last several months. I haven't really had the courage to do it until now. Now I think I can actually get through a video. But I realized several months ago that I had postpartum depression. I first noticed it when I had a thought pop into my head about hurting my baby, and it was kind of scary. I don't really want to go into detail about it, but after that I kind of started looking up what postpartum depression actually was, and I learned that it's actually a little bit more serious than I had thought it was previously. I had no idea that it was so common. 1 out of every 7 women have it or deal with it, and that's only the ones that actually come out and say something. So, I mean, it's super common. It's a little bit more than just the baby blues. A lot of times you need treatment for it, and I didn't know that. I thought that it was something that like any other depression, like, you know, you have a depressive episode and it'll go away. It's a lot more serious than that. A lot of times you need counseling and antidepressant for it. The thoughts that would enter my head would be really scary. I would think about hurting my baby. A lot of times I couldn't even pick my baby up because I was just afraid of hurting her. I felt ashamed and guilty, and I felt undeserving of my baby. I felt like I shouldn't even have had her in the first place if I couldn't handle it. And I think a lot of moms feel that way. A lot of times we feel like we can't handle things, but it's just not true, because God wouldn't have gave us that job if He didn't think we could handle it. And that's how I feel now. But it kind of started a cycle in me. Like, I would feel these bad feelings of hurting my baby, or hopelessness, and not feeling like I should even be a mom, and then I would feel guilty about feeling that, and then it would leave me feeling depressed. It was just a big cycle of this depressed feelings all the time. I mean, and they wouldn't go away, and then I would have crying spells on top of that, just at random times. I felt like hiding it. I felt like hiding it even from my husband, because I was afraid of him being afraid that I would end up hurting my baby. So I didn't want him to think that I would hurt her, because even though these thoughts would pop into my head, I didn't really want to hurt her. Like, I still wanted my baby, so I would hide it. And not only that, but I didn't want to go to a doctor, because I was afraid of being put on an antidepressant, because I was breastfeeding, and I didn't know how that would affect my baby. Which I still am afraid of that. I'm afraid of, you know, having medication passed on to the baby. And I think that a lot of moms do need it, regardless of if they're breastfeeding or not. It can be more serious than even mine was. But it finally got so bad that I did end up scheduling an appointment with my doctor. And I was reassured that I wasn't a bad mom, and I am normal. It's very common. So, I mean, that kind of made me feel better. And I got some blood work done, and they checked my hormone levels and my thyroid, and it all came back good. The only thing that was even a little abnormal was my vitamin D. It was still in the normal range, but it was on the lower side of normal. So she just had me start taking a supplement of 200 or 2,000 IU a day of a vitamin D supplement. And on top of that, I also made sure I was taking my prenatal vitamin every day. And I also looked up that omega-3s can really help with depression. So I started taking fish oil for the omega-3s in that, and I noticed that it did start to help me feel better, but I still wasn't feeling great. So they prescribed me Zoloft. It was 50 milligrams a day, and I started taking that, but I only took it for 5 days because it started dropping my milk supply, and I felt that I wanted to keep breastfeeding going because that is one thing that's one way I could bond with my baby, even though like I almost wanted nothing to do with her. I felt like that was the one thing I could do to bond with her. So instead of taking the Zoloft, I asked if I could go off of it after taking it for 5 days, and they said that it was okay. So I stopped taking that, and I continued to take the supplements, and I did slowly start feeling better over time. I can now think back to how I felt when it was really bad, and now I'm just thinking, you know, I don't know how I even thought about hurting my baby. I think that because what caused my postpartum depression is a combination of high life stress and just a bad birth experience. While I was in the hospital, I wasn't able to really bond with my baby. I wasn't able to hold my baby because she had jaundice, so she was under the light a lot of the time. I was in the hospital alone because my husband had to go back to work. So I was in there after having a baby with all these emotions, basically alone. And on top of that, I had a painful birth experience because I had SPD. So I had to end up getting an epidural, and it was just not at all what I wanted. It was painful and not what I wanted. It was nothing compared to the experience I had having my son. So I think that's just the mixture of things just caused me to become depressed. And that, and going from one child to two is a big change. You know, with a 2-year-old running around, that's enough stress as it is. And then have a newborn tossed in on top of it. It was a lot to handle for me, I guess. It doesn't make me a bad mom, and I know that now. But every experience could be different for everybody, I think. Not everybody else is gonna experience postpartum depression exact same way that I have. There might be different things that have caused it for you, or it might be worse for you, or it might not be as bad for you, but it's different for everybody. But I think that it's important to get help no matter what the situation is, and it's even more important, or just as important, to get support in your life, whether it be from a doctor or a counselor or a friend. I was lucky enough to have really good support in my life while I was going through it. I also had a friend who was going through it at the same time, so we were able to communicate about how we were feeling, which really helped. And my doctor set me up with a counselor, which I'm still seeing that person now, so that has helped also. So I really suggest that. Anyways, yeah, it's good to get support. So I just wanted to be that support to somebody out there. Also, I figure, you know, there might be somebody else out there that's afraid to reach out and get help. So maybe they would like to talk to me about it. Somebody they don't know. So if there's anything that you would like to ask me in the comments, whether it be about postpartum depression, or even about my own experience with it, or your own experience with it, just leave it in the comments below. You can talk to me about it. Let's get conversation going. But I just want to let you know that no matter what you're going through, you're not a bad mom. You're normal, and you will get through it. If you like this video, subscribe for more. I don't always put out serious videos. I don't, you know, I like to have fun. I like our family channel. We have a lot of other family videos, so if you're looking for just a, you know, a view of a stay-at-home mom, make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye.